So today I kind of wanted to talk about my Marui Big Bear and my whole foray into the 3D printing world via RC trucks. So the first machine I bought was this VoxLab Aquila, and that was because I wanted to be able to reproduce parts for this truck. Not this one in particular, because when I got this one, it was pretty much complete. The only thing it really needed was this little shock cup back here. Everything else came with the truck, except for the interior with the drive. I mean, the decals and the paint needed to be redone, and I went away from box art with the decals because I wanted to do something a little different. And my light setup in the front and rear, it's a little different than what everybody else is doing, but again, I wanted to do something that wasn't exactly the same as everybody else out there with these trucks. When it comes to the Big Bear, parts are becoming very hard to find, and when you can find them, people want an exorbitant amount of money for them because of the fact that they are becoming harder and harder to find. Luckily, I had found a second truck, and I got all these parts off of this whole gearbox here, all these, the two trailing arms, the front suspension, steering bits, the whole steering assembly up front, but the body and chassis on that truck were completely trashed. So I slowly got to work on getting replacement parts built and printed, and so far I've got a couple of prototyped chassis that aren't the greatest. So the third prototype should be the charm after I've made my adjustments. All I gotta do is print it now when I have the opportunity to, and everything should be good. But this whole setup does work and run perfectly fine. I got a quick run ESC in here. I got a 1060 ESC. The original motor that came with that second truck was broken. It was burnt out, so I put a Dynamite 15 turn motor in there. It took a little bit of modification on the original gearbox to get it to fit. Not too happy about that, but I got it to fit without doing a whole lot of cutting. Designed up some just basic Big Bear wheels, front and rear, the trailing arms, the hub, little hub pieces, bumper, little bumper bit for the front. So with that, now I already have these, both the right and left trailing arms and the hubs. Those have been tested and proven. I used them on this truck for a little bit to test them out, and they work great. They fit good with the original gearbox. So those I already have available, but I'm not making anything else available yet until I test it out and prove it, like the replacement chassis. Now on mine, because I'm working with a limited size build plate, the build plate on the Aquila is 220 by 220, so there's not much space that I can really do with to make the entire chassis fit. So what I had to do on my reproduction version was essentially remove this whole back piece here, take where the body posts are and where the upper suspension bit for the rear connects. I don't have one printed, but I did design it to lock into this little rectangular bit back here. It'll lock into the bit, and then you can glue it, drill it, and drill a couple of small holes and use a couple of small screws to hold it together. But that'll mount up properly where the body posts need to be and where the rear suspension bits need to be able to attach the rear shocks. So that way you can still use the original rear suspension setup on the reproduction chassis. And everything for the front should be the same as well. It should all just line up and bolt together. The suspension setup for the front. So the reproduction chassis should, after I test this third one, I'll know a little bit more. but everything should fit perfectly. Now, I made the battery tray a little bigger to accommodate more modern batteries, because even though the original battery tray fits some of the batteries, I run only 2-cell lipos in everything, so you know, having only one battery or that fits in here when I've got several batteries that should be able to fit, you know, I made a small adjustment to the battery tray to make it so that way it'll accommodate a more modern 2-cell lipo hard pack. But other than that, there still be plenty of space to put the ESC, the receiver. The servo obviously goes up front, and you know, everything will lock into place. So hopefully with the third prototype chassis, once I print that and get everything put together, I should be able to film the reproduction Big Bear bouncing around the yard, jumping over some stuff. Obviously I don't have tires yet for these wheels, so I'll probably just have to take these ones off of my original and throw them on the reproduction just to test it out and drive it around a bit until I get some TPU, and I get to play around with some TPU to make some tires for these ones. But I haven't done a whole lot of anything with TPU yet, so that'll take some experimenting, because I would like to, because these are really, they got a really nice feel to them. They're still, I mean, I run them often. I run this truck often, you know, especially when I do go to competitions, and you know, just sitting at my table in between runs with the crawler. I'll have this thing, I'll buzz this thing around some of the tracks, and it's just fun to drive. This truck is really fun to drive. I don't know why a lot of people complain about the gears and the gearbox. This thing takes the abuse and just keeps going. So, but anyway, look forward to more progress on this coming up. Slow and steady, but I'm trying to do these things right, so that way I can get them and have them available for others who are trying to keep these trucks alive and just want to have fun with these older trucks without worrying too much. So yeah, that's about it. Subscribe if you like this video. Please subscribe. Head over to the link tree. The link should be in the description down below. And you know, check out the other socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for some of my shorter, more just fun videos. Check out the Etsy shop to see if there's anything you might like up in there. Like I said, I have the trailing arms and the hubs available if you're looking for some Marui parts. I have those available currently. And